Remember, you're finally starting to remember. The GATE program, Gifted and Talented Education, Accelerated Learning, Complex Learning, Advanced Learning. You've been on our radar for a long time. You're finally ready.
Saw the video I did on the GATE program, you'll remember we explored its strange connections to psychic research, the gateway tapes used for consciousness expansion, Zener cards for ESP testing, the mysterious pink drink some students remember being given, and the possibility that GATE wasn't just about finding gifted students, but about studying, identifying, and training children with unique or even psychic potential for future government projects. But that's not where the story ends. Because when former GATE students found each other online as adults, they realized something strange. They weren't just connected by their childhood experiences. They shared remarkably similar traits, struggles, and abilities in adulthood. And most bizarrely, many of them shared the exact same recurring dream. They call it Mall World, a liminal space that feels strange, yet familiar. And even though these people have never met in real life, they all describe having eerily similar dreams about this place. But before we get into that, let's talk about some of the other traits they share. First, there's the pattern recognition. GATE kids as adults report an almost compulsive ability to see patterns everywhere. In data, in social situations, in random events, they make connections others miss, sometimes to the point of paranoia. They overthink everything, analyzing situations from every possible angle, unable to turn off the analytical part of their brain. Sleep problems are nearly universal. Insomnia, delayed sleep phase syndrome, vivid dreams, difficulty maintaining normal sleep schedules. Many report being natural night owls, feeling more alert and creative in the late evening and early morning hours. Some wonder if the consciousness exercises from childhood permanently altered their sleep architecture. There's also a pervasive sense of not fitting in. Many GATE adults report feeling like outsiders their entire lives, struggling with social anxiety, feeling like they're observing human behavior from the outside rather than naturally participating in it. They often describe feeling like they're playing a role in social situations, rather than being authentic. Many also report strong creative abilities. They excel at abstract thinking, creative problem solving, and artistic pursuits, coming up with unconventional solutions. Many work in creative fields, technology, or research positions that require innovative thinking. And then there's the dreams. The one experience that stands out as too specific and too consistent to be coincidence. It all started with people online discussing something strange, a recurring dream about a mall that doesn't exist. As more people shared their experiences, a pattern emerged. Thousands of people were dreaming about the same place, and a disproportionate number of them were former GATE students. A massive, sprawling shopping mall that exists in the dreams of thousands of people, and the details match in ways that shouldn't be possible. It's always multi-level, usually 3 to 5 floors, though the exact number is hard to pin down. The layout doesn't follow logical architecture. Hallways loop back on themselves. You can walk in a straight line and somehow end up where you started. Escalators and elevators don't always lead where they should. The stores are familiar but wrong. Brand names that almost make sense but aren't quite real. A bookstore that's always there but changes location. A department store that you can never quite remember the name of. Shops that feel like real stores from childhood but merged together. Hybrid versions that exist only in this space. The lighting is specific and consistent across reports. Fluorescent, creating a hazy, dreamlike quality. But always that distinctive mall lighting that makes it hard to tell what time of day it is. There's usually a food court, but the restaurants aren't quite right. Sometimes there's a movie theater attached, though you rarely actually watch a movie. Often there are sections that are abandoned or under construction, wings of the mall that are dark or closed off. People wander the mall, sometimes shopping, sometimes just walking. Often they're looking for something specific they can never find, a particular store, an exit, a person they're supposed to meet. The mall feels both safe and unsettling, familiar and wrong, nostalgic and ominous. Sometimes there are other people there, faceless shoppers, background figures. Sometimes it's empty. But there's always a feeling of being watched, of the mall itself being aware of you. Some report that the mall changes based on their emotional state, becoming darker and more threatening when they're anxious and more welcoming when they're calm. People return to this mall in their dreams for years, even decades. They know its geography intimately. They can describe specific landmarks, a fountain in a particular atrium, a bathroom tucked behind an escalator, a circular skylight in a specific wing. And when they compare notes with strangers online, the landmarks match. From a psychological perspective, this could be explained. Malls were built using standardized design principles. Anyone who grew up in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s spent significant time in malls. Our brains could be creating a composite dream space based on amalgamated memories. But that doesn't explain why the composite is so specific. Why the same impossible architecture? Why the same emotional tenor? Why so many of the dreamers are former GATE students? So what's the connection? Why would children selected for potential psychic ability grow up to share the same dream space? One theory: GATE students were trained in visualization and consciousness techniques. The Gateway tapes specifically taught out-of-body experiences and mental projection. What if these children, their minds trained in similar ways during crucial developmental years, inadvertently created a shared mental space? A collective unconscious location based on the most common neutral public space of their era. Another theory goes deeper. What if it was intentional? What if part of the training was learning to access a shared consciousness space? The mall could have been used as a common reference point, a meeting ground in collective awareness. And even though the program ended, even though the children grew up, they still returned to that space in their sleep. Or perhaps the darkest theory: what if Mall World is a created space, a psychic construct deliberately designed and implanted in these children's minds, a place where they could be monitored, studied, or even contacted, a backdoor in consciousness, installed in childhood, waiting to be activated?